Remember how we were sword fighting together? The next morning, Ma scolded me on account of that scratch on my hand.
Oh, dear. Sorry about that.
That's all water under the bridge now. I never told her it was you who did it. I just wish you could have covered my back too. She was angry that I was at sword training instead of working in the forge, and she said you told her. Your Pa and Stibor were really stealing from the royal mines? Jesus. I don't think even Fritz and Matthew would take that kind of chance. And there's not much that pair won't do for an easy groschen.
Yeah. In a way, I can understand that Pa did it for us, but it was really irresponsible. You won't tell anyone, will you?
I won't, I promise. So what happened to the silver?
Pa handed it over, as always, to that slimy fellow, and he took it away. What happened to it then, I don't know.
Your Pa really wanted to marry you off to Master Tobias?
Yes. Can you believe it?
And have you spoken to Master Faithfar since the raid?
I haven't. Either he's lost interest, or he's forgotten about me. Not that I'm complaining. Uncle Peshek would be happy to marry me off too, especially if there was something in it for him. I'm glad that's in the past.
Aye, I don't blame you. So Johanka and Matthias finally got together. Well, if it hadn't been for everything that happened afterwards, who knows? They could be headed for the altar. But that little intrigue with the dice, I never thought you'd stoop to stealing.
It was all in a good cause. Johanka would never have plucked up the courage to talk to him otherwise. And in the end, her harebrained scheme actually worked. Who knows? Maybe the two of them will get together again.
Bianca told me something about your little expedition to the woods. You really ran into a wolf. I thought Bianca must have been imagining things.
Not exactly. It was actually a wild dog, but Pa used to say those are even worse than wolves.
It's a good thing you were there with Bianca. Bianca told... She was flaunting that ring all day. I was worried for a while that she had some other suitor who gave it to her.
No, no. Unless you can count a magpie.
Going back to help the survivors. That was very brave of you. When I went back to Skalitz, I met no one but footpads and cutthroats. If you hadn't come along, I doubt I'd be here to tell the tale.
You know what our parish priest always used to say? Without Christian charity, we'd all soon be dead. I couldn't just leave you all to your fate, could I? Any good Christian would have done the same.
Well, I'm not so sure. Not everyone has your courage. Did you go back to Skalitz again? To bury your Pa and your brothers?
Yes, along with some more of our neighbours. We had an escort from the Ratai garrison, with Sir Hanish's kind permission.
Where are they buried?
Sammy's buried near the mines. He didn't like the mines. But his grave is on the hill, where I used to meet him for lunch. He loved it there. I know it's not consecrated ground. But what could I do?
God will understand. I buried Ma and Pa under the linden tree by our house. It's what they would have wanted.
Yes. Father and Stibor are buried in the churchyard in Rovna.
Once things settle, we'll be able to go back and pay our respects. And get the priest to bless their graves. I have no more questions. Thank you for telling me about everything, Teresa. I know it isn't easy to talk about.
It helped to talk to someone who knows what it's like. Thank you. I'm glad you came out of it in one piece.
Yeah, so am I. And I'm glad you did too.
By the way, Henry, I have something for you. The soldiers gave it to me when we brought you from Skalitz. I meant to give it to you earlier, but, you know, it belonged to one of the Skalitz garrison. They wanted me to have it for being brave, but I hope I'll never have use for such a thing.
Oh? How come? What is it?
It's a shield with the Skalitz crest. I'd like you to have it, to protect you, and as a keepsake from home.
Sure. Thanks, Teresa. Thanks for everything.